So as you pretty much gathered, today we're going to be talking about the Resident Evil franchise, specifically the new Resident Evil 3 remake, if you can call it that, is a piss poor attempt of a good game being remade. So just a quick side note, I'd like to just take a second to thank the people that left a comment on the Assassin's Creed video, and it was actually pretty nice to get some feedback, and obviously there was people out there who just felt the same way I did. It was honestly, it was really great. Thank you so much. I am going to be critiquing Resident Evil, but if you haven't actually played this franchise, I'd just go ahead and do so. If you're new to this franchise and you want to give RE2 a try, the remake, fantastic. It is a good remake. RE3, I mean, it's a good Michael Bay movie, but honestly, if you're new to the franchise, you're going to enjoy him. But the critique for me is coming from an older fan, someone that has played the originals and that's going to compare the two. And Project Resistance, don't even get me started on that. So I've been watching a few critiquing videos of Resident Evil 3 Remake, and people are critiquing it, in my opinion, in the wrong way. People keep saying the game is short, but Resident Evil 3, even the original, was short. It wasn't intended to be a prequel, but that's what it ended up being. Resident Evil 3 was, I wouldn't say a Michael Bay movie, but there was some explosions, but not to the extent that the remake does it. I've just been unhappy with how the remake was treated, and it could have been treated so much better. It could have been another Resident Evil HD remaster. That was a perfect way to blend old and new together without throwing anything out the window. The remake of Resident Evil HD remaster is a masterpiece. It truly is. I mean, there are a couple of gripes with it for sure, but it is a fantastic game, and it's a beautiful addition to already a fun game that was the PS1 Resident Evil, the very first. I mean, it wasn't good in terms of graphic or voice acting or anything like that, but it was so bad it was good. And the remake added to it and obviously brought better lines, because you're not going to recapture the cheese that was Resident Evil, but it's just such a nice way to blend old and new together, and it's just so seamlessly done. It's fantastic. What I think the Resident Evil 3 remake suffers from is there's no suspense, there's no build up, it's always just explosions. It relies too much on Nemesis being scary when he's not even in the game that much. There's a handful of scripted moments, but it's, in my opinion, really dull. It's so linear. There's no replayability in terms of like the same, like with the original, because everything was done in Mercenaries mode in the original, which helped you unlock things for the main game. In the remake, you basically just play through the campaign and then play through it again. There's not much replayability, and in the originals, every time that you did a new playthrough, the items would be swapped around, zombie placements would be different. I mean, one area there'd be zombies, you could go back another playthrough, it'd be dogs. So I just don't understand how this remake could even hold a candle to the original. As an older fan, I just see it as lazy and dull. Now, there are some things that the remake does pretty well. I do like how fleshed out the characters are. I do like some of the personalities. I do like Carlos. I do like, as I said, a couple of things in the game. But it does more things wrong than it does right. How could you remove content from an already short game? How could there be no Mercenaries mode? How could there be no suspense and just a handful of Nemesis scripted moments? In the original, the game would adapt to how you're playing. The playstyle of how you are is how difficult the game would end up being ultimately. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was fantastic. It would honestly drive you to make better decisions. It would randomly pop out, and I just don't understand how a PS1 game could get it so right, where a game in 2020 would get it so wrong. It's just an utter shame that this game could not recapture the fantasticness that was RE3 Nemesis. Another gripe I have with the RE3 remake is Project Resistance. How they're putting so much time and effort into that game, and you know what, I'm happy they're putting time and energy into something, but I just wish they would have put more time into the Resident Evil 3 remake. It was the entire reason why I brought the damn thing. The fact that they removed content to an already short game just rubbed me the wrong way. What also rubbed me the wrong way was just how linear it was, the experience, how every playthrough's the same, how Nemesis is just completely unutilized, and how Mr. X from RE2 was just a far superior creature following me around in every way. It was Mr. X from RE2 had much more an effect on me than Nemesis ever would, which is completely bad because Nemesis is meant to be this badass that just completely takes you by surprise and just constantly wants to mess you up and take you down. In no way in the RE3 remake did I feel I was in danger. I really didn't. I felt like Jill was the BOW and Nemesis was just this creature that was just trying to befriend Jill. I mean, there's one scene in the Resident Evil 3 remake that really kind of annoyed me. Nemesis shot a rocket right at Jill's feet and she went flying over this vehicle, and she basically stood straight back up and started running. Yeah, sure, she started limping just a little bit and gave like a little bit of a pain expression, but I was like, Jesus, what can take Jill down? This man is constantly trying to go after her. The Resident Evil 3 remake Nemesis itself isn't too bad, but the times that he is there, he grabs her, he throws her, he grabs her, he throws her. It's, I don't know what it is, but Nemesis just doesn't feel scary. He doesn't at all. I went into the Resident Evil 3 remake completely blind. I didn't read a single spoiler, I didn't watch any of the trailers. I just wanted to enjoy myself and soak up the game in its entirety. The game, as I said, does some things right, but the majority of the game is completely wrong. And when I mean wrong, I just mean compared to the original. I get that it's a remake, but does it have to be just worse than a PS1 game done in the 90s? I don't get it. But that's going to be the end of my Resident Evil 3 remake critique. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked what I said, or if you want to add to what I'm saying, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. If you disagreed with me, that's completely fine. You're entitled, as am I, to my own opinion, but if you'd like to have a civil conversation, I promise I will respond to you. I do love the RE franchise, and I do like meeting all walks of life, so yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. Please keep it civil. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see all of you in the next one.